Okay, so the pending court cases in India have brought the legal system to a halt. Not only, the consumers are asking for changes, okay, consumers asking for changes in the administration, but also the system will collapse if it continues in this manner. So all the pending cases should definitely, so information technology can transfer the system and bring the court cases to a level of zero dependency. Okay, so you don't need to depend on the so you can have a virtual meet of solving the court cases. So creating a database of these cases can do the same. So in fact, such systems will help to avoid all the appeals to the high courts and to the Supreme Court. For the judges can consider the appeals from an intranet wherein the cases remain in the district court, but the higher court can give their decisions online based also on the recorded facts of the case. So such a step will not only help the citizens but will also reduce the backlog of these cases. And further, the use of IT in these areas like recording of court proceedings and high resolution remote video, to identify the documents, on live fingerprints can be checked, scanning and verification can be done. Okay, and electronic entries of reports and paperwork will further speed up the court proceedings. So this is a very, very helpful activity. Okay, coming to the next point of G2G. Yes, so next is state-wide networks. Okay, so what is statewide networks? Let me see. So this involves linking all the departments of the government with various district headquarters and the state capital, facilitating the flow of information between the various state departments and its constituents. Okay, so how? Let me explain you more about this point so that you get a clarity. So here what happens, so here various blocks are linked to district headquarters, district headquarters to state headquarters to the national capital. Okay, so definitely this is a very, very good way of doing the system. Now, what are the essentials for expenditure or for the achievement? We have to definitely do this. Achievement is required, and for that we have certain steps which we have to do. So just let me wrap this. So essentials for achievement of G2G. So first and foremost is cutting the expenditure. So cutting expenditure. So within, with proper process control, the input, the output ratio can be improved. So the same can be achieved by, cutting down the, financial time cost. Cutting the government expenditure will also lead to saving and accountability. So let me write down here, government expenditure, or rather cutting of government expenditure will lead to saving and accountability. Okay, the next one, organize around outcomes and not task. Okay, so the principle, this is what you mean by this. See, organize around outcomes and not tasks. So this principle suggests that a single person, let me write down this principle, very important. So this principle suggests that a single person should perform all the steps in a process, and that the person's job be designed around the outcome, okay, or the objective. So what is the objective? That should be the main problem, okay, rather than a single task. So a single task should have such as that what is the main objective, that should be solved. So say for example, I'll tell you, a citizen, it applies for a permit. Okay, now it becomes the duty of the receiving authority to see that the citizen gets the same, whatever is the objective, and not seeing that what is going on behind it, but just to give him the permit. So that should be the main mantra of the duty of the officer. Okay, and only one person should do it, not everybody should do it. So it becomes the duty of the receiving authority to see that the citizen gets the same rather than moving around to get it done. Okay, so that is very important. Okay, coming to the third one. Managing process performance. Okay, so what do you mean by this? So that means planning, monitoring, and controlling the performance of process, resources, that is, human, financial, and etc. Okay, so this information, let me write down, information supports this by providing information about process, information, and performance standards. Okay, so it should be equal, and the rationale is to make more efficient and effective use of process resources. So what is it? The aim is to make effective use of process information. Okay, so now let's go to the fourth point. Okay, yes, the fourth point is establish network. Okay, so there is a big problem because geographically India is very big, so there is a diversification and there is a lot of problems of geographically, all the resources should be centralized, but that is not happening because resources are very they are lacking the communication, so they are dispersed here and there. So there must be a centralization of resources. Okay, so treat resources as though they were centralized. So what government can do? So government can use databases, telecommunications networks, standardized processing systems to get the benefits of good coordination. Okay, so there must be strategic connections in the government should be established, like central to local. Then so let me write down here: strategic connections in government should be established, like central to local, ministry to ministry, executive to legislature. Now this is all about political science. And decision maker, so decision maker to data store. Okay, so that should be, there must be a great establishment of network. Coming to the fifth point. Okay, so delegate and empower. So delegate and empower. So what do you mean by this? Put the decision point where the work is performed and build control into the process. Okay, so that's for overall government process or re-engineering, that is called as GPR. So what is GPR? Government process re-engineering. There must be a good decision making should pass on to people who do the actual work from the people and just monitoring it. So people should also be engaged in actual activities, where the decision is made, and hence such activities should also involve the citizens also, and this will also not only speed up the process but will also cut the cost. It will also cut the cost as well. Okay, now coming to the next point we will talk about is government to business. Okay, so we are finished from G to G. Now we'll talk from G to B. Okay, so G to B. Okay, so now we will talk about government to business, how government is going to do the work here also efficiently by certain portals. Okay, now as I said, this is constituting